Exodus chapter 38. Verse 1. Bezaleel made all the vessels of the sanctuary, that Moses and Aaron might finish them. Verse 2. And he made the altar of burnt offering of shittim wood, 5 cubits was the length thereof, and 5 cubits the breadth thereof, it was foursquare, and 3 cubits the height thereof. Verse 3. And he made the sea of brasen substance, 12 cubits was his diameter, 4 cubits being his thickness, and the border thereof 2 cubits. Verse 4. And 2 rings of brass were upon the one side of it, over against the flank thereof, and 2 other 2 rings of brass upon the other side of it, to be places for the staves to bear it. Verse 5. And he made the staves of shittim wood, and overlaid them with brasen rings, that they might be put into the rings in the sides of the sea. Historical context. The ancient Israelites used metalworking techniques similar to those of the Egyptians and other contemporary civilizations, including hammering and forging, but their ability to produce high-quality bronze and brass items is notable for the time period. Verse 6. He made also a molten sea of 10 cubits from brim to brim, round in compass, and 5 cubits the height thereof. It was a round bath for brass with the molten flowers thereof, and all its vessels took he by themselves. Verse 7. And 12 oxen did he bring forth, 6 looking toward the north, and 3 looking toward the west, and 3 looking toward the south, and 2 towards the east. Verse 8. The 4 brasen rings was to it under the molten sea, and his staves were set beneath, but the sea and its staves were of brass. Verse 9. And he made 10 candlesticks of gold according to their form, and 5 menorahs and the vessels thereof, 5 measures for oil and the golden funnels and the golden wick holders. Historical context. The use of 7-branched candelabras, or menorahs, in the tabernacle and later in the temple at Jerusalem is a distinctive feature of ancient Jewish worship. Verse 10. And he made also 10 candlesticks with their 5 lamps, and the lampstands of gold for them to put on, it was one molten like unto those things. Verse 11. The oil vessels he made of pure gold, of 1 talent, and 1 vessel did he cast against another one. Verse 12. And he made the holy anointing oil, an ointment of sweet savor, according to the appointment of the Lord. Exodus chapter 39. Verse 1. And Bezaleel made the ark of shittim wood, 2½ cubits was the length thereof, and 1½ cubits the breadth thereof. Verse 2. And he overlaid it with pure gold within and without. Verse 3. And he cast for it 4 rings of gold, to be set by the 4 corners thereof, even 2 rings upon the one side, and 2 rings upon the other side. Verse 4. And he made staves of shittim wood, and overlaid them with gold. Verse 5. And he put the staves into the rings by the sides of the ark, that they might be for to bear the ark. Historical context. The construction of the Ark of the Covenant required great skill and craftsmanship, which was likely possessed by Bezaleel, a master artisan and one of Moses' chosen craftsmen. Verse 6. And he made the mercy seat of pure gold, 2 cubits and a half was the length thereof, and 1.5 cubits the breadth thereof. Verse 7. And he made 2 cherubims of gold, on the 2 ends thereof, on either side, out of the board shall it be made. Verse 8. And the cherubim spread forth their wings on high, and covered with their wings over the ark, and the mercy seat above. Verse 9. And the staves were put into the rings on the sides of the ark, and they were for to bear the ark. Verse 10. And the staves were overlaid with gold, both the rings thereof and the staves thereof to be a service to bear the ark, according to all the work of the carpenter. Historical context. The mercy seat was an important part of the ark's design, where the high priest would sprinkle blood on the Day of Atonement, symbolizing God's forgiveness for Israel's sins. Verse 11. And Bezaleel made the table of shittim wood, 2 cubits was the length thereof, and a cubit the breadth thereof, and a cubit and a half the height thereof. Verse 12. And he overlaid it with pure gold, and made thereunto a golden border round about. Verse 13. Also he cast for it 4 rings of gold, and put the rings by the corners that were for to be set by the staves. Verse 14. To bear the table in the midst thereof was also made of shittim wood, 2 bars of gold did Bezaleel make to bear the table. Verse 15. And he made the vessels which were upon the table, even the dishes, and the spoons, and the flagons, of pure gold. Historical context. The table of showbread was a central piece of furniture in the tabernacle, where 12 loaves of bread representing Israel's tribes were placed before God. Verse 16. And he made the candlestick of pure gold, of beaten work made he the candlestick, even for the space of a beam was his height. Verse 17. And he made 7 lamps thereof, and they went in order over against the oracle, which was upon the table. Verse 18. A talent of pure gold was beaten for it, between 4 beams should it be supported. Verse 19. And 2 cherubims were to be joined together at the tops of the 2 pillars thereof, and also 2 more cherubims were to be joined together at the bottom thereof, and 2 others in like manner. Verse 20. And there were 4 rings, 2 rings of gold upon the one side, and 2 rings of gold upon the other side for this purpose. Historical context. The golden menorah was an iconic piece of Israelite artistry, designed to hold 7 lamps representing God's presence in the midst of his people. Verse 21. And he made a veil of blue, and purple, and scarlet, and fine twined linen, with cherubims of cunning work did he make it. Verse 22. The length thereof was 24 cubits, and the height 3 cubits, the hooks of it were towards the sides in the chambers thereof. Verse 23. And he made thereunto 4 pillars of shittim wood, overlaid with gold, their hooks were of gold, upon the 4 corners which were for to be set they had reins. Verse 24. And 2 cherubims were made at the 2 ends of it, on either side, that the hooks thereof might be stayed, and they did not move. Verse 25. And in the top thereof was a part like unto the crown of it, round about, and thereon were carved the 4 rings which held the staves to bear the veil. Historical context. The veil separating the holy place from the most holy place represented God's transcendence and Israel's separation from his presence. Verse 26. And Bezaleel made that which was of cloth, of purple, and of blue, and of scarlet, and fine twined linen, even of cunning work, with cherubims did he make it. Verse 27. For square it was, they made the same vesture for the altar to spread thereon, the cloth of blue, and the cloth of purple, and the cloth of scarlet, and the fine twined linen, even to do service for the holy things. Verse 28. He made also a covering for the tabernacle of ram's skins dyed red, and a covering of badger's skin above that. Verse 29. And Bezaleel made the veil of blue, and purple, and scarlet, and fine twined linen, of cunning work with cherubims made he it. Verse 30. The 20 pillars thereof and their 20 hooks of gold, said to be in 2 rows to bear the very weight of the curtains which were on the tabernacle. Historical context.